Hi, class. I'm very happy to discuss our final group project proposal with you all, Cybersecurity Hotline for Cyberbullying and Sextortion. Members of my team include myself, Ian, and Jorge. To start with the introduction, our lives are now shaped at all levels by digital technologies, from the most fundamental communication network to the complex critical infrastructure. And as the threat landscape continues to evolve, more and more hackers find innovative ways to compromise sensitive data, and the potential risk for any individual to experience a security threat or a breach has increased threefold in the past 10 years. And according to the recent survey done by EC Council, the impact of most of the cyber attacks today can be reduced to a great extent if the victims know the right solutions and the right protections that has to be applied to the system. Or in other words, know what to do next when they experience a cyber attack. But unfortunately, most of the people today don't realize that there are various attack vectors lurking in their ecosystem. And let's say if they do realize, most of them don't know what to do next, and are often embarrassed to disclose that they've been hacked or they've been cyberstalked. In fact, I came across a recent scenario wherein a friend of mine owning a small startup was hit by a ransomware, and they had no backup files. Attackers demanded a huge amount of money to retrieve their files. And as a result of this, my friend's company was in a helpless state, and they didn't know what to do next and how to tackle the situation. And since it was a small organization, they could not afford to outsource this investigation to a cybersecurity company. That brings us to our final premise that an average citizen today has no one point of contact, or nor there exists an immediate helpline to reach out to, which actually provides great technical details or help and prioritizes public service without any monetary expectations or financial benefits. Next slide, please. So as a team, we came up with this idea, which might greatly help the general public in an efficient and fast way. Public interest cybersecurity hotline for cyber harassment and sextortion at the state level. The proposed project would argue to the state that a fourth domain needs to be added to the current state infrastructure that comprises of police, medical, fire, and now cyber. So our cybersecurity hotline team would mainly consist of experienced cybersecurity specialists working in shifts 24/7 with the team with the main intention of providing valuable guidance and technical help to people who are feeling helpless and have no idea as to what to do next after being targeted or victimized. So with that being said, currently our main goal is to focus specifically on vectors like cyber harassment, including ransomware and sextortion cases. But we could expand this baseline with other vectors as well in the future based on the demands and outcomes. Thanks. Next, we have Jorge talking more about project deliverables.
Thanks, Sanjana. Okay, so for the project deliverables, we designed a deliverable infrastructure for the cybersecurity hotline. The infrastructure includes trained cybersecurity professionals, which will be attending the customers on a daily basis. Also, the call center will be inbound since it will focus on receiving calls from potential sextortion and cyber harassment victims. Instead of having traditional phone lines, we opted to have an internet-based phone service called VoIP, which stands for Voice over IP. This will enable us to operate phone services over computer networks using packet switch protocols. The call center will be virtual instead of physical, requiring employees to attend. So this will enable us basically to hire qualified candidates, and we'll have agents covering different time zones as well. And as for the deliverable infrastructure, we can see in the schema here. So it's composed of four main components, which are internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, the product itself, which is the cybersecurity hotline, and communication channels, which the engines will be used to communicate between internal stakeholders. So the internal stakeholders infrastructure is composed of the basic needs the call center needs to operate in an efficient and organized manner. By having not only agents, but also supervisors, quality analysts, and HR department, we ensure that the training and quality of our agents is top-notch at the moment of attending potential victims. The external stakeholders are the clients and the customers. Finally, the product infrastructure is what we need to successfully implement a cybersecurity hotline while maintaining it operational across multiple time zones if there's a need in a future expansion, of course. Okay, so here's the demo video. This demo video will be posted along with our presentation, so you can see it as well on YouTube. And then we go to the motivations, which was the need for this project. So the need for this project arose due to the lack of aid tools at the disposal of civilians when a sextortion or cyber harassment attack occurred. Also, the cyberspace traffic increases every year. Also, this type of attacks tend to increase due to a high number of online users. At the present time, this service is not available on any state. A similar service is offered by the Department of Homeland Security, but only for financial motivations from the attackers. A service designed to help civilians hasn't been set up yet. So what does this project make possible? We define two basic scenarios which are before and after the cybersecurity hotline is implemented. Before the cybersecurity hotline, a cyber harassed or sextorted individual has no way to seek help even if they wanted to. This causes victims to continuously obey their attackers' demands, and attackers rarely get caught when they intimidate their victims with this type of attacks. Then, after our cybersecurity hotline is set into motion, an affected individual will be able to seek help and guidance in an efficient and fast way. Attackers could be potentially caught sooner due to the victim's cooperation, and further damage to more persons can be prevented. So, back to Ian.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jorge. So yeah, let's talk about the scope here a little bit. And I think it's important that we define the what, the why, and the how of this project, right? So the what is obviously a public interest cyber hotline. And the purpose of that is for sextortion or cyber harassment crimes at the state or government level. The why being to provide citizens with a meaningful way to seek consulting, and then the how is by employing information security specialists at a major city police department, for example. And with the increase in the number of cyber harassment crimes, users and their use of social media and the internet at the individual level have often been left insecure. And often the victims are unwilling to speak up about being sextorted or being cyberbullied. There's been a corresponding increase as well in the role of internet and how far attackers are willing to go to stalk an individual. And given the situation, the present study analyzes the impact of having an information security specialist to specifically address these crimes at the state and government levels. Currently, the FBI orchestrates sextortion awareness campaigns in schools, and this is certainly a great start. However, contacting the FBI or Homeland Security about cyber harassment or sextortion for a teenager may seem intimidating. And already, in addition to the threats and coercion of the criminal, young victims often feel that they have done something wrong and will be punished by parents, caregivers, or they'll even be prosecuted by law enforcement if their actions are discovered. So it's a little bit of this fright, piece to it as well. And so our proposed project would argue that a fourth domain needs to be added to complement those awareness campaigns that are out there by the FBI and Homeland Security and provide a trusted and comfortable setting to report these crimes. To this end, the study will also cover the cyber harassment and sextortion crimes over the period ranging from 2010 to 2020. The scope of the study is going to be restricted to cyber stalking, cyber harassment, and sextortion crimes. And finally, the study will involve an analysis of teenagers' perspectives on who they trust to report these crimes to. And so how does this proposal align with our class material, right? Well, the class is progressing, and so as the class matures and grows into public policy, so will this proposal. And thus far, the majority of the course has created a need for public good, public service innovations. During the course readings, it has been clear that there has been an outcry for public interest technologies or even infrastructures. In Module 4, we read that sextortion was very real. And cyber harassment, next to identity theft, is the epitome of protecting our digital citizens. Particularly, the increased use of social media has created a symbiotic relationship with our digital identities and our in real life identities. And what this has created is a cesspool of cyber stalkers who are capable of tracking naive teenagers or naive internet users. This proposal helps bridge the gap between physical crimes and digital crimes on everyday users. So, with that being said, this is our project proposal. It is coded as JSIP, which is an acronym for all of our names, and the P is standing for a project or proposal. And we would really, just love any thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns from our fellow classmates. And thank you again so much for watching our presentation here, and Jorge will be also uploading our YouTube demo of our service and proposal. Thank you.